What's up, you guys? It's Greg. If you're a returning viewer, you know that we're in a different location right now. The channel did get qualified for monetization, and that's huge for me. Thank you so much for everyone that's been watching and liking and subscribing, and the channel's been going really fast, and I'm really excited for where we're going. If you're new to the channel, I'm Greg. As of today, I've done 2 fixers, and we're under contract for our first rental property, which I will end up doing the repairs on it, so that'll make it our 3rd fixer, but we will actually buy and hold that one, as well as obviously the house that we're living in currently. So in this series, I'm actually gonna walk you through the entire process when it comes to placing an offer on the house, running the comps, figuring out what you're gonna do with repairs during the contract phase, and actually me fixing up the house myself. So that way, after every single video you're watching, and you can see what it's practically like to invest in real estate yourself, especially when you're gonna go ahead and DIY a lot of the projects. It's my hopes that at the end of this series, basically when I end the series, it's gonna be when I finally put a tenant in the house and then end up refinancing the house, that you feel like you can go through and invest in real estate yourself and have actual knowledge of like, hey, I watched Greg go through this. I feel a little bit more confident than I can do it myself, because let's be honest, I'm just a normal guy. You know, if I can do this, anybody can do this. But I'm looking forward to continue sharing my thoughts and my journey while I'm fresh in it, you know, because I've been through this a couple of times already, but never documented the process like while it's happening. Also, I've got a couple houses experience, so I can reflect and realize like, hey man, I really messed up there, and kind of can perfect my craft as we move forward. But you guys get to watch that happen, as well as have it documented so that you guys can not make some of the same mistakes I made. And that's really the key about this step right now that you're in when you're under contract for a property, is you just need to think about what the next step is. So when it comes to actually fixing, so for me, I know that I'm gonna save the kitchen in the rental property that we have. So I'm looking up specific brands of paint, and if I'm gonna spray it or if I'm gonna roll it. And for the bathroom, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna save it, because I don't wanna replace the bathroom if I can avoid it. So in this step, you just need to think and have a plan, because even if you're planning on moving into the house, you want to be able to hit the ground running. Like if you're going to gut the bathroom, just know you're going to gut the bathroom, but you need to be familiar with, where you're going to get a tub, if you're going to go with a fiberglass round, if you're going to go with tile, where you're going to get your vanity. Are you looking more at Home Depot or Lowe's or a construction supply store? Just have a general idea where you're going to get all this stuff. Now, if this is your first one, this is going to be a lot of information and a lot of stuff for you to do in this step. So you just need to start familiarizing yourself. Lowe's has good in-stock cabinets. Don't buy the custom ones, buy the in-stock ones, because if you have extra or one doesn't fit, you can just return it and you're not stuck with that cabinet. Also, they will actually go in and design the kitchen for you. You just have to bring in your measurements. But right now is where you're thinking of that step, colors, things like that. So the next thing to think about is what tools you're going to be using if you're going to actually be doing the renovation yourself. Now I'm going to run you through a couple of examples of tools that I bought that were on the cheap, because let's be honest, you're buying a property, you probably don't have a bunch of extra cash laying around because you have that money tied up in either a renovation budget or the down payment for the house. Now keep in mind, I'm not a tool channel, I'm not a tool reviewer. I just kind of know what, going off YouTube or from my own personal experience, I just like to pick tools that I'm going to use. I'm just now making the switch to brands that are going to last longer as opposed to just shopping at Harbor Freight. But I'm going to be more mobile with this fix, as opposed to, everything's going to be there all the time and we're going to end up moving into that property. This one I need to get it done a little bit quicker, because I'm losing money the longer that it sits. So here, I'm going to show you some examples of tools that you can use to get by. You don't have to spend a ton of money on tools. Okay, so like I said, I did 2 fixer-uppers, which means that I put $150,000 in equity into houses over the last couple of years, meaning that was their natural appreciation after the property was repaired. This is my bit set. Yeah, you're like, oh, it looks like a mess. Yeah, this was given to me. You can see this is my Phillips head. And this tape measure is not even mine. This is my grandpa's tape measure. But as you'll see, it reads the numbers just fine. So, and this one has been with me since the beginning, since the first fixer up, because I didn't have any tools. They were just like, here, take these tools, because I didn't have any tools, because I didn't have anybody making this video telling me like, hey, you gotta have a plan. I had no plan. So here, more bits, just hodgepodge. It's mainly a set, but then I've also got some miscellaneous ones thrown in there. Here, examples of some drills. You don't have to go and buy a brand new DeWalt or a brand new Makita drill. you know, this drill is Panasonic. It smokes a little bit when you use it. Oh, battery's dead. Sorry. It's been a little while. And this is a Harbor Freight drill. You know, this one, it smells under heavy use, and the battery is not super great on it, but it works. And you know, you don't need to go and spend $200 on a drill kit just to do a fixture. You kind of have to be able to use what you have, especially when starting out. You know, you don't know if this is going to be something that you want to do for a long period of time. So you don't want to go out and spend $2,000 on tools that, one, if you're not going to do another one, you probably don't need, and two, then you have to store them after. If you're not going to use them again, it's just annoying to have to store them, and then when you move, you have to move them. And then one last tool that I use all the time that was super cheap. This is a Harbor Freight oscillating saw. It's corded. I think with a coupon, it was with a coupon on sale. I think I got it for $13. You know, I did have to replace the blade once, and I actually did that just recently. But this has so many hours on it, and it's totally fine. Now, as you can see here, I did take advantage of the Black Friday deal at Home Depot and go with a whole new Makita set. The bottom box here you can't see is a impact driver as well as a drill. So one of the routes you can take is the cheap route. You can go and buy stuff from Harbor Freight. You can borrow stuff from people that are willing to loan it to you. You know, you can try to find it on Facebook Marketplace, or, you know, if you have a free page in your area, and just use what you have. And now I'm gonna go ahead and touch on the tools that I use now and how I decided to acquire them. So after we finished our second fixer, I bought a new tape measure. I found it on sale. It was 10 bucks at Home Depot. I liked it. I thought it was good. I went ahead and bought it. Then I found these DeWalt bit sets. They're great. They stack. They're fully kitted. There's nothing missing in there, which is really nice. These were 10 bucks a piece, so I bought them. See, but I don't need to spend money on screwdrivers. These screwdrivers right here, they're magnetic on the end. They're from Dollar Tree or Harbor Freight. I think these are from Dollar Tree though, but they work just fine. They're a screwdriver. You don't need to go out and spend, you know, 8 bucks on the one that says Milwaukee on it. It's a screwdriver. I'm gonna make a suggestion. If you're only gonna spend $100 on tools, or, you know, maybe $150 on tools, I would suggest getting an impact driver. Trust me, it's gonna be worth it. You're gonna be running in a lot of screws. You're gonna use it a lot more than you would think. You know, honestly, I don't use a typical drill like this that often because I'm using the impact driver. Now, there is something about that. Don't get a cheap one. Don't go to Walmart. Don't get the Hyper Tough. Don't get the Hart. Don't get a Ryobi one. If you're gonna buy one, they're really not that expensive. You can look at them on the end caps. I know right now they're running deals on them. You can get a Makita one, you can get a Milwaukee. I would say something like DeWalt, Makita, Milwaukee, somewhere in there, you're probably gonna be okay. But remember, I'm not a tool channel, I'm not reviewing them. I just know that I left this drill outside in the rain, heavy rain, for about a day and a half. And it works exactly like it's brand new. So that's why I went ahead and stuck with the Makita brand. But like I said, as the third house I'm gonna fix, I wanna go ahead and become a little bit more efficient. I upgraded to the sander from Makita because it's battery operated. I have a Harbor Freight one. I think it was maybe $14 with a coupon. And it's worked fine. It's just corded. I'm trying to move to a cordless system so I can become more efficient because I'm gonna be moving tools to and from the house, as well as for the next house, I need to be able to be a little bit more mobile than I currently am. And this oscillating saw, yeah, did the other one work just fine? Yeah, but the other one had a cord on it. And this one takes a battery. So this is gonna help me be more efficient. So I'm spending money when I need to. See, but this is something that I've been thinking about because I already have a pretty good plan when it comes to the house. So I'm thinking, how can I become more efficient in what I'm doing? One, so I can get a house turned over quicker so I can put a tenant in it, but also so I don't have to spend as much time fixing it so I can be home with my family. So basically only spend money where you have to. You don't have to go out and buy all brand new tools. You don't have to go ahead and buy the Milwaukee pack out. I'll go ahead and throw a picture up on the screen of what that actually looks like so you can see, but this is all stuff to help me become more efficient. But right now you're watching me process in what am I gonna do to become more efficient, because this is what I'm thinking about right now. You know, I already have a plan when it comes to the bathroom. I know how I'm gonna try to save it. There's silicone on the wall. So I went ahead, I bought a silicone scraper and I'm looking at products to help dissolve the silicone so I can get that off, so I can just reglaze the whole bathroom. But I've already taken the time to think about what I'm gonna do for the kitchen and what I'm gonna do for the bathroom and what paints I'm gonna do and things like that. So this is what I'm thinking about now. But that's what's important, is that you're thinking about what's important for you. And if your main goal when you're buying a fixer isn't like, hey, how am I gonna become the most efficient version of myself that I can be? And you're like, oh, what am I gonna do with this kitchen? Then just think about the kitchen. You don't need all this stuff. You know, you can just buy the tools as you need them. Like obviously you need a drill and a saw and things like that, but you're gonna be into the project and be like, oh wow, I really need a light. And that would be really helpful. So you just go to the store and just buy a light, because trust me, you're gonna be running to either Home Depot or Menards or Lowe's or Harbor Freight all the time anyway. So it doesn't hurt to just pick things up as time goes on. But as long as you're thinking about something before, now's not the time where you're like relaxing and just like chilling before you actually start the project. You need to have a plan so that you can hit the ground running, so that you can turn it over quickly. But that's what this series is about, is just documenting my process in this, because this isn't new to me. And this is something that I'm very confident doing, and knowing that I can look at all the angles and have a plan and be ready for it. Because real estate's a type of investment that you can be very calculated at, and it diminishes your risk level because you know exactly what's coming. And granted, there's things you don't necessarily always see or have a plan for. Like on our first fixer, in our inspection stage, we actually saw that the back of the house was starting to rot out. Just one of the floor joists had some water damage. But we ended up having getting a quote from a contractor, and he jacked up the back of the house for $300. So it's like, we didn't really have a plan for it, but it worked out for us. But I can look back and be like, hey, that was probably not the best decision to just kind of wing it. And I can recognize that, but now I can share that with you, being like, hey, if there's an issue, just think about it. Because it may not be a big deal, but it may be a big deal. But right now, in the time when you're under contract, you're afforded the ability to be able to think about all the things and all the steps coming up. Because eventually, you will close on that house, just like we will close on this house. So I need to be ready to hit the ground running, to get it turned over, to get it fixed. Because until you basically get it done, get a tenant in it, and refinance the property, there's a potential that you could be cash poor. Like, we're cash poor right now. Granted, we own 2 houses, but we're cash poor until we refinance. If there's another update on the house, I'll go ahead and update you guys with a video. I want you to be able to watch this series, and at the end of it, you know, you're confident, or even after every video, that you're confident that you know a little bit more about real estate investing, and not just like, oh, how to run numbers, or theoretically, what is this? Like, all the steps involved. Like, hey, I gotta know what I'm gonna do with the kitchen, what I'm gonna do with the bathroom, what tools do I need, you know, what should prices or what should material cost, and things like that. And that way, when you embark on your journey of buying a fixer, or even if you buy a house that is under market value that you're gonna fix and live in, and that's just the house you're gonna plan to stay in forever, that you have a handle on being able to do the project. Like always, thanks for watching. And again, thank you so much to everyone that subscribed and has been watching my videos for the watch hours. Being monetized was a huge goal for me, and I really look excited for the next goal of 10,000 subscribers. But anyways, I'll catch you next video.